Welcome back to turn 8 of Blood on the Snow. We're in this kind of, I think we might be just about stabilizing the lines. I've got a big chunk of village, which I'm sat on, and we've kind of getting to the end of that first stage of a meeting engagement where both sides just bump into each other. And it looks like we've done the classic, I've grabbed an objective, he's grabbed an objective. He's had a little push up here, lost a striker, lost some infantry, but I've lost a BRDM and a BTR. Around this flank, we've had the two BTRs got tow missiled from a Humvee down here. What we're looking for this turn is if he decides to do anything else. Mostly if he pushes up here or if he pushes towards this area here. I don't think that's as likely as in pushing this flank. So he knows he's hit me here. He may or may not know about anything here. We definitely saw these two light vehicle contacts pushing down this way, like along this tree line. And I have the mouse. The recording now picks up the mouse, so you can actually see when I'm just looking at stuff now. Pushing down this way, and a striker contact, which may be going around to follow it up, or it may be setting up to cover the reverse slope on this edge of the village here. We'll see. So that's a sensible thing for JTMO to be doing. He knows he's got this corner locked down by the tow missile Humvee up here, and it would be sensible for him. He knows I'm strong up here, or he knows doesn't know I'm strong, but he knows I have a presence up here. It's sensible for him to say he might be weak on this flank and try and push this. And if he gets into this kind of area, he might be able to roll me up from this side, or even punch around the back. So we're going to see what happens on that front. That's the bit I'm really interested in. And we got some of the recce platoon, what's left of it, is going to be reorientating a little bit to see if we can't close them down a bit. I'm not massively optimistic, but they do have plenty of AT weaponry, plenty of handheld RPG-26s, the old one-shot disposables, and they should be able to do a number on a Humvee if they hit it. Only other things that are really happening, I think, yeah, that's about it. This AT-13 team's moving up here into this building with these guys because they can see the armoured knight over there, and I want to take that out because, why wouldn't I want to take it out? Difficult shot for an AT-13, I think, to go through all the woods and stuff, but we'll see. And then over here, this team with the casualty up by the burning BTR. We'll see if we get them to pull back a little bit. If we're lucky, maybe JTMO will sense a gap over here and try and exploit it. Try and get around the flank of the objective I'm holding, North Crossroads, and we might be able to sucker him into an ambush. Let's press go and see what happens. Got some friendly mortars dropping in on there. And they have enough ammo, they're going to last the entire game. Oh, small arms fire. Oh, yeah. That house just got hit by something. That's excellent. And a bit of fire out here. Pinging off the front of the BTR. Ooh! Kaboom. the AT-13 team getting hit. So that's an interesting one. I don't think anything else really happened there, not particularly. We lost the spot on that striker, but it was the RPG team. Let's have a look down here, see what these spots do. So he's got 2 Humvees moving up. And it looks like they just kind of stop. All this texture pop-in going in. Yeah, so they just move up there and stop. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, this is that chunk of dead ground, wasn't it? So, if this is definitely... Yeah, there were 2 Humvees last turn, weren't there? One sat in that dead ground there, one sat in that dead ground there. They can just pop up there if they need to. Or alternatively, he might be sending some infantry scout teams down this line here. Hopefully, the recce platoon will be able to deal with them. But we'll see. And of course, yeah, these guys ran across. And they pretty much got up there without any problems. So what I'm looking for, I don't necessarily have to watch them, watch the entire minute to see what happens to them. What I'm looking at is the suppression meter down here, this inverted triangle, and if that lights up a lot, then that means they're being shot at, which sucks. So what was happening up here? There was some small arms fire. These guys got out. See, that's the lit up triangle, they're suppressed. And yeah, that's it, guys. You run through the bocage like that. And oh yeah, Mark 19 fire all over the place there. Yeah, so we've got another striker just there, that spot there. And some small arms. So we know we've got infantry and strikers over there, so it's definitely, as if we needed any more indicator, definitely an infantry platoon out there. But the 2 guys got away, and they still have their RPG, which is important. And these guys are moving up. Those guys are on the reverse slope there. Turn the trees back on, yeah. So what was happening up here? Is he trying to mortar this front edge of the village? Okay, so these guys here, they got shot at a little bit there. He may well know that these guys are here because they shot down one of the American pixel truckmen from earlier. So there's some infantry out that way. That was an explosion. Hard to tell what that was aimed at. Let's have a look again. It's just an explosion. It's not big enough for a javelin. Probably a mortar? Ah, hello. I thought it was hitting the top of the house, but maybe not. That's more like 81mm mortar kind of size. It doesn't look like 105 or 120. The 105 would be from the Striker mobile gun system with the 105mm rifled gun that used to be on the Abrams. We'll just get one. That would kind of says to me spotting round, but then at the same time I'd expect a spotting round to, you know, to hit the ground, and then later we get or towards the end, these guys get a bit of pain from something. Just as they go into that house. That's a mortar. That's a mortar round. Okay. No, that's not a problem. We expect casualties. That's not an issue. Because they, like I said, the other possibility here is that there is a striker MGS sat turret down, or hull down rather, taking pot shots at things. It does have air bursting HE round, so it can, you know, it can do that. But I don't really. There's got to be mortars. There's got to be mortars. So what does that tell us? That tells us that he's interested in this area here. Which is fantastic. I've got two ways of winning this, or two ways to get the points, like we looked at in the long-winded explanation of the planning and stuff. And that is 600 points for killing the enemy, and 400 points for holding the objective. So at the moment we've each got 200 points. He's probably got a bit more, but it's hard to judge the casualties that are being inflicted because they're representative of a percentage of the entire force. So he likely has fewer men than me, because out of the box at least the American stuff is more expensive. So we might even be even on casualties-ish, just because I have more manpower to soak it up. He's probably a little bit ahead though. But if he wants to mortar that, that's fine. I don't have any issue with that. I'm pretty confident that's incoming mortar fire. It doesn't look like 120 mil either. It looks quite small. A bit small, like 81 mil, 81, without the glossal stop handlers. Without 81, it looks like 81 mil, which means they're either on foot, or they're in a Humvee, or have come in a Humvee, rather, hanging around down here, somewhere, or around the disused quarry, somewhere like that. But what's interesting is that that's starting to get a bit of mortar attention, and that the scouts, or the Humvees over here, have kind of stopped. That would sort of imply to me that he's just screening over here. There's no solid contact for either side on this flank right now, so... Okay. So, what are we going to do? I don't particularly see any reason to change what I'm doing, he says. Last words, Ingley. Let's spread that PG team out a little bit. It might actually... Part of me wants to lure him onto the top of the slope, onto the crest, so I can destroy him. I have plenty of assets hanging around here that can shoot him up if he tries to push the top end of the village. that's the BRDM crew. That's what those guys are. Let's stash you in one of those houses. See, I don't really care about messing with the orders too much here. I can just do a straight, simple line. It doesn't need to be fancy. They're relatively inconsequential, but they're gonna be more used just sitting in the objective, denying it to the enemy than anywhere else. I think that I need to hit him up. I'm being a little passive at the moment. I don't like that. I want to get out of... at the moment, I'm just kind of sitting here and letting JTMO do things to me. There's two ways I can go with this. I can pull back here a little bit, quite ostentatiously, and try and lure him in, or I could these guys need to move anyway because they've been spotted. We've got a door on that side of the house. Yes, we do. You guys go in there. Guys come out. They're a nice short field of fire. I need to find a way of actively either going out of my way to smack him around, or alternatively encouraging him to advance into a position where he's vulnerable. And that could... essentially, I think this boils down to... because I don't want to attack over this reverse slope here. I can't see that going well. Is either giving up the top slope here to create a vacuum to try and suck him in to destroy him on that reverse slope, or punching up towards the other crossroads objective, or at least getting closer and putting some pressure on. What can he see from his position up here? They are sort of mutually supporting. And I'm maybe, I am watching that a bit, so that, that's some degree of signaling to him that I'm going that way. But over here, these guys aren't getting any indication that there's any enemy anything. So I think punching here up through the village is the way to go. Like these guys, I was really worried with this platoon moving this one up here because it's quite exposed, but they moved up and they haven't had any problems whatsoever. So let's punch it. Let's go find the enemy and kill him. None of this messing around. Because even if it goes wrong, we'll have made contact and we'll have found more information out about the enemy. One of the problems that I've got here is that I'm not really doing enough reconnaissance. Or any reconnaissance at all. Sandwich that BTR in between those buildings. Is that the house? That is the house where we saw the enemy before. So we know there were some enemy troops there at some point. Oh no, we had that there because it can cover off down this way. Oh, we can't. It can't see through that tiny little hedge. Okay, combat mission. Whatever you say. Let's get these guys onto the other side of the road. they are just kind of hanging around there, not doing anything. Which is not healthy. They need more exercise. They may be a little exposed on the flank there, but I'm cool with that. And these guys here are far too... Let's punch you up, because they're just not doing anything. You know, let's punch up into the village and see what we can see. These guys here, this platoon is much more of a kind of it's a much more defensive posture. The concept was that, you know, Kieme could potentially have bum rushed down here, and you know, if he, on the first like 3 or 4 turns, if he had grabbed this area here and set up to cover the objective, you know, it's all my stuff piling up here, like a whole company's worth of troops piling up this way across the crossroads. It's just would have been devastated. It would just been smacked around in the flank in a very terminal kind of way. So that's why they were there, to fend off any issues. So it should be okay to start moving them forward. Or it is okay to start moving them forward. And we still got a reserve platoon plus another BTR, plus I can scrounge some more BTRs up in case I need to reorientate to plug a hole here if he punches. Punches around here. Yeah, they can see him there. Now, nearly a third of the way through, and probably even Stevens. Let's see what we get when we throw this one back.